If you could grab a coffee with someone from the past, who'd it be, and what would you ask them? Both of my grandfathers. I never met my paternal grandfather, he died of a heart attack long before I was born. It would be nice to get to know him so I could know my dad better. My other grandpa was an amazing and interesting man, but he was massive and scary for young me. I would have liked to ask him about his time as a boxer, what it was like seeing all his friends go to war while he couldn't due to a heart murmur. I wish I could have gotten to know him better. My grandma. So I'd know if she was sorry for all the evil things she thought I was doing. She never treated me well because she thought I was a good-for-nothing kind of girl who would just bring shame to our family, and would just get pregnant at a young age. I'm in my 30s, single AF. An awesome career, no kids because I never wanted to have one. I want to see her face one last time and tell her I never brought shame to our family. She did that to herself. John Forrester, to do some extensive vehicular cycling with me. And I do not take no for an answer. I'm pretty much his antithesis. I don't like vehicular cycling, but I'm fearless and very adept at it. See how he likes sharing the road with reckless drivers and speeding oversized cars of today, in public roads that are prioritized for cars over the rest of the public. I recently met a girl and she gave me her number, not because of attraction or something, just because we both want to meet more people in uni. So I wanted to ask her if we could grab coffee sometime, but in my mind this always sounds like you're asking someone out on a date, which I don't want. I just want to get to know her as a person. Julie Daubigny, the stories are wild and crazy, yet there is little known about what she was actually like. Did she really burn down a convent for her lesbian lover? Likely not, but it's an interesting tale nonetheless. I'm curious to figure out what was true about her. Who was she really behind the tall tales? Your average middle-aged squire. Being him forward and let him drink coffee in my living room and be amazed at how your poor American lives. Food, clean water, the ability to travel at over 100 kilometers an hour, the ability to read, electricity. He would see me a living better than his king, that fellow who people called Jesus Christ. I am not a Christian, but that man allegedly said and did things that have echoed throughout the centuries. And if I could find him, I would have a fuck ton of questions. I would pick my dog to cuddle with him for the last time. But oh well, dogs don't drink coffee. I think I would have a coffee with my uncle and ask why the fuck he wasn't wearing a helmet. Marie Curie would be my choice if I could have coffee with any historical figure, and I would ask her about her struggles as a trailblazing female scientist. A regular person from the 1800s, I will show them around, let them fidget with my smartphone and ask them if the future meets their expectations. My stepdad. He was there from the time I was very young until my early 20s. I'd let him know how I turned out and tell him about my kids. Leonardo da Vinci, I might ask him about his creative process and how he approached the intersection of art and science. My biological mom. When I was ready to find her, I discovered she had died. Everything I learned about her was anecdotal. My dad, because he was murdered in a robbery a few months before I was born, and I would ask about his life and stuff. Jimi Hendrix, and I'd ask him about where he was taking his music and what he thought about jamming with Miles Davis. Probably Descartes. I have a few questions, and apparently he could also smoke a joint together with that coffee. The first person who ever made it. I'd have no idea what he was saying, but I picture it to be majestic AF. My grandpa on my dad's side. He passed away when I was a year old. I would have liked to have known him. Grandma, I'd ask her how she managed to stay such a good person through all the shit she went through. My dad, Hart, he passed away 25 years ago. He was an amazing dad. I'm 66 years old and still miss him. If we had coffee, I would ask Cleopatra how she was able to rule Egypt with such grace and charisma. Probably Agrippina the Younger. Just to see how she's doing. Maybe go on a hike. Fool around a bit. My grandpa. My Grammy was so dominating, he never really had the chance to speak with me much. Robin Williams. For many reasons, but also my dad is LBD and want to know what it was like. Joe Strummer, I'd ask about his life out of the public eye in punk rock in its infancy. I'd send an anger therapist to Hitler in his mid-20s and try to save a few million lives. My grandmother and I would demand her coconut biscuit recipe and her rock buns recipe too. If I could grab a coffee with someone from the past, it would be Leonardo da Vinci. Albert Einstein, not only because he was smart, I get that he was also a good sport. My ex-best friend. I'd ask them for the full truth and why they did what they did. My parents from before I was born. I'd ask them what the FCK they were thinking. My nan. I'd ask her for a message to give to my mom. Mom misses her every day. Marilyn Monroe, and I would ask her if she wanted to get freaky one last time. Kurt Cobain. I'd just ask him how he's doing and try to help him find peace. Pee Wee Herman, I would ask what was life in America like when he was alive. It'd be really funny to grab a coffee with whoever first invented coffee. I heard they have great coffee in Berlin 1942. I got check that out. James Joyce. Just to make fun of him for those farty letters, lol. Sigmund Freud. Honestly, I just would enjoy the coffee. Jerry Garcia. I could listen to his stories for hours.